Welcome to Yin with Allie. Today we're going to do shoelace pose. Now it's one of the more challenging poses, especially for me in Yin, because it's a great hip opener, and one of my hips doesn't like to cooperate sometimes, but it's a great hip opener. It helps with your chest when you bend forward, your arms outstretch as well, and your wrist as well too. But the main is a great hip opener. So I'm going to show you a couple ways to get started in that. You can start with Sukhasana, just like I am, or easy pose, and simply, what shoelaces is stacking your knees. Putting one leg down and the other one forward, bringing the other knee over, and then making sure that your heels are evenly on the outside of your hips. Now for me, you can see I have quite a bit of distance in here. This is not the best way for me to get into it, but it might be for you because of the way my hips are. Just making sure that your heels are outside evenly on your hip area, and then your knees are stacked as closely as possible on top of one another. Another way to do this is actually to have your legs straight out. Simply cross your legs, the lower end, and bringing one knee back toward your hip, one hip, and then tilting a little bit and bringing that other knee back as well. Again, you will see, I'll adjust a little bit to make sure that my heels are out and my knees are as stacked as possible. There is a distance in here because it's a little more challenging pose for me, but I still get that great hip feeling in here. What is really not as good for if you have sciatica problems or if you have knee problems, because it can tend to be a little bit more sore on the knees as well. You might want to do a lot more variations with this pose. And then another way to get into it is to simply sit on your heels. This way on your heels, and bring one of your legs and your knees up over the other one. Bring it to the side. Again, tilt your body, and then bring your feet out to each side of your hips. Either way, as you can see, my knees aren't perfectly together. They're pretty close, but not stacked. So what we can do is we can elevate our sit bone, our buttocks, so that we are able to tilt forward. In this position, you can have your hands either out in front of you or out to the side as you bend forward, whatever is available for you today, in front or outside. Now, a way to be able to kind of get your knees closer together is just to take a blanket, sit on the back corner edge, folded edge of the blanket, just on the edge, and that tilts your body a little bit forward. That way, as you can see, it brings your knees a little bit closer together because you are automatically tilted forward. Placing your hands out here or in here. It gives you you can feel it right in through here in your hip area. Another thing that you can do is also sit on a bolster. I don't quite need that much height to kind of move forward, but if you do, feel free to sit on a bolster as well. Now, in moving forward, if you are available to you, moving forward is a little more challenging. I am able to kind of put my forehead on my knee, but if that's not available to you, feel free to use a bolster. Prop it up a little bit, then you're not bending, you're still having the opportunity to have that stretch in your chest, but then you have a little more support. Here or in front. The same thing with a block. You can do it. I like the bolsters a little bit better because it's a little softer, but you can do that as well on a block. And you have the opportunity to actually make it a little bit higher if you need to be up a little bit higher. You can put the block the long way and then bend forward this way as well. Here or here. Work with your body. This is your practice, and see what works best for you. In coming out of the pose, also do it very carefully. One at a time. Move forward. And then you can either sit back on your knees or in Sukhasana. I'm gonna end up right here because for me right now, that feels good. So I encourage you to kind of see work with each way to get into shoelace and see what works for you. What's best for you and your practice. So that is shoelace yin pose. So until next time, stay well, be blessed, and I look forward to seeing you on our next video.